Have you ever looked at an old wheat penny and thought it was nothing more than a dirty, forgotten piece of pocket change? Stop right there, because today we're counting down some of the most surprising wheat pennies that have shocked collectors with incredible values. Some of these coins have been dragged through mud for more than 70 years. Some look like complete trash. Others have been sitting untouched inside dusty change jars, old toolboxes, family collections, and forgotten drawers. But despite their rough appearance, the right coin in the right condition has sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Expert dealers continue searching for these rare pieces, and the prices on certain examples have gone almost vertical in recent years. In this video, I'm showing you exactly what to look for, the valuable details that collectors pay serious money for, and why one ordinary-looking penny could turn your loose change into serious cash. Most people never check the date, the mint mark, or the condition before spending these coins. That's exactly why valuable wheat pennies are still hiding in pocket change across America. We'll talk about coins that are now out of everyday circulation, mint state examples that bring astonishing auction prices, and even worn coins that still attract collectors because of their rarity. One of the coins in today's countdown has sold for thousands of dollars at auction, while another proves that even a dirty old cent can be worth much more than its face value. So stay with me until the very end, because each coin becomes more exciting than the last, and the final one might completely change the way you look at every old penny you find. This is a 1948 wheat penny, and at first glance, it looks like nothing special. It's old, dirty, scratched, and maybe it has been rolling around in someone's pocket, hiding in a dusty coin jar, or even dragged through mud for more than 70 years. Most people would spend it without thinking twice. But collectors know something very different. The right 1948 wheat penny, especially one with outstanding condition or rare characteristics, can be worth far more than just 1 cent. Before you ever toss one aside, you need to know exactly what makes this coin special. The 1948 wheat penny was produced during a period when America was rebuilding after World War II. Millions were made, but that doesn't mean every example is common today. Many entered circulation immediately and spent decades changing hands. They were carried in wallets, dropped onto sidewalks, forgotten inside old cash registers, and stored away in dusty boxes. Because so many were heavily used, truly well-preserved examples have become much harder to find. When collectors examine a 1948 wheat penny, the very first thing they check is the date and the mint mark. Coins were struck at different U.S. mints, and the mint mark can make a significant difference in collector demand. After that comes a condition. Even small differences in wear, color, and surface quality can dramatically affect what buyers are willing to pay. Now imagine finding one that still has sharp wheat lines on the reverse, bright original surfaces, and almost no signs of circulation. That's the type of coin collectors describe as being close to mint state. These untouched examples are far scarcer than heavily worn pieces because very few escape decades of everyday use. Here's where many people make an expensive mistake. They assume a dirty coin has no value. In reality, some collectors would rather own an original coin with natural aging than one that has been harshly cleaned. Cleaning can actually reduce a coin's collector value. That old penny sitting in your chain jar could deserve a closer look before anyone tries to polish it. Auction results have shown that exceptional 1948 wheat pennies in high grades can bring impressive prices. While most circulated examples remain inexpensive, coined with outstanding preservation, beautiful original color, or certified high mint state grades have sold for hundreds and, in some cases, several $1,000s. That's why serious collectors continue searching for them. Think about how many old pennies are still hiding across America. Some remain inside forgotten piggy banks. Others are tucked away in inherited collections that haven't been opened in decades. Every year, valuable coins are rediscovered simply because someone decided to check an old jar of loose change instead of spending it. Professional coin dealers examine every detail under magnification. They look for strong lettering, full wheat ears, original mint luster, and surfaces that have not been damaged over the years. These small details often separate an ordinary penny from one that attracts competitive bidding at auction. Another important factor is originality. Coins that have remained untouched for decades often appeal more to experienced collectors. Natural color, honest wear, and attractive surfaces can make a coin much more desirable than one that has been altered or improperly cleaned. The exciting part is that valuable coins don't always look spectacular. Some appear dull, dusty, or forgotten. That's why so many treasures continue to hide in ordinary collections. A coin that looks almost worthless to one person may catch the attention of an experienced collector who immediately recognizes its potential. If you discover a 1948 wheat penny, don't judge it by appearance alone. Check the date carefully. Look for the mint mark beneath the date. Examine both sides under good lighting, and avoid cleaning the coin. A careful inspection could reveal details that make it much more collectible than expected. The market for classic wheat pennies continues to attract collectors around the world. As more high-quality examples disappear into private collections, finding an exceptional survivor becomes even more exciting. Every original coin that remains untouched tells another chapter of American history. That's exactly why experts continue paying serious money for outstanding examples. They are not buying just 1 cent. They are buying rarity, preservation, history, and collector demand. Those factors together are what can push prices much higher than most people ever imagine. So before you ignore another old wheat penny because it looks worn, dirty, or forgotten, stop and take a closer look. That little 1-cent coin could have survived more than 7 decades of American history, and if it's the right example in the right condition, it might be worth far more than its face value. The next coin on our countdown becomes even more surprising, and its story has shocked collectors with some remarkable values. Now let's move to the next coin on today's countdown, the 1944 wheat penny. At first glance, it looks like just another old 1-cent coin that has been sitting in circulation for decades. Maybe it's covered in dirt, maybe the color has faded, or maybe it has been hiding in a forgotten coffee can full of loose change. Most people would never give it a second look. But collectors know that some 1944 wheat pennies have become some of the most talked about Lincoln cents ever discovered. Before you spend one, you should know exactly what you're looking at. The 1944 wheat penny was struck during the final years of World War II, making it a fascinating part of American history. Millions were produced for everyday commerce, but not every coin from that year is the same. Different mint facilities struck these pennies, and small differences in production have created coins that collectors eagerly search for today. That's why experienced dealers always inspect every 1944 penny carefully instead of assuming it's ordinary. After more than 80 years, most surviving examples have spent decades changing hands. They have been carried through pockets, dropped onto sidewalks, forgotten inside drawers, and buried beneath dusty piles of change. Some have scratches, stains, and heavy wear from years of circulation. Yet even a worn example can still attract collector interest if it has the right characteristics. One of the first things collectors examine is the mint mark beneath the date. They also study the strike quality, the color, and whether the coin still has original surfaces. A coin that has remained untouched for decades often receives much more attention than one that has been cleaned or polished. Originality is something serious collectors value highly. Many people believe a dirty coin has no value. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. A naturally aged wheat penny often tells its own story. Cleaning may make a coin look brighter, but it can remove the original surface that collectors want to see. Before trying to improve the appearance of any old penny, it's worth learning what collectors actually prefer. When it comes to value, condition changes everything. A heavily circulated 1944 wheat penny is usually common, but a beautifully preserved mint-state example is a completely different story. Coins with outstanding eye appeal, sharp details, and original mint luster have achieved impressive auction results, with some selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their rarity and certified grade. Among collectors, the 1944 wheat penny is especially famous because a few extremely rare minting errors from that year have sold for astonishing prices. Those error coins are exceptionally uncommon, but they remind collectors why every old wheat penny deserves a careful inspection. Sometimes the smallest detail makes the biggest difference. Professional coin dealers rarely judge a coin in just a few seconds. They use magnification, proper lighting, and years of experience to inspect every letter, every number, and every design feature. They know that tiny differences can separate an ordinary coin from one that collectors compete to own. Imagine opening an old family collection that hasn't been touched for decades. Inside is a handful of dusty wheat pennies that everyone assumed were worth only face value. That kind of discovery still happens today. Valuable coins continue to appear in inherited collections, old piggy banks, forgotten toolboxes, and jars filled with loose change. As collector demand continues to grow, exceptional examples become harder to find. Many of the finest coins are already locked away in private collections, making high-quality survivors increasingly desirable. That's one reason prices for premium examples have remained strong in the collector market. If you find a 1944 wheat penny, resist the temptation to clean it. Hold it carefully by the edges. Examine the date and mint mark, and compare its condition with trusted coin references. Even if it looks old and worn, it may deserve a closer inspection before being spent or discarded. Every scratch, every mark, and every sign of wear tells part of the coin's journey through American history. It may have traveled across the country, passed through thousands of hands, and survived generations before ending up in your collection. That history is part of what makes wheat pennies so fascinating to collectors. The excitement surrounding the 1944 wheat penny isn't just about age, it's about possibility. Most examples are modestly valued, but the right variety, the right condition, or a rare mint error can transform an ordinary-looking cent into a highly collectible coin. That's why experts never stop searching. So the next time an old wheat penny appears in your pocket change, don't assume it's just another penny. Take a closer look, check every detail, and remember that some of the biggest discoveries begin with coins that look completely ordinary. One careful inspection could reveal a piece of history that collectors would be excited to own. And we're not finished yet. The final coin in today's countdown has its own remarkable story, and its value has surprised countless collectors over the years. Make sure you stay until the end. You won't want to miss what's coming next. And now we reach the final coin in today's countdown, the 1945 wheat penny. At first glance, it may look like nothing more than an old 1-cent coin that's been forgotten for decades. It could be dark, dirty, worn smooth, or buried in a dusty pile of loose change. Maybe it has been sitting in a jar since your grandparents' time, or maybe it has been dragged through mud for more than 80 years. Most people would never stop to look at it. But collectors know that the right 1945 wheat penny can be far more interesting than its appearance suggests. The 1945 wheat penny was struck during the final year of World War II, making it an important piece of American history. Millions entered circulation, passing through stores, banks, restaurants, and households across the country. While many examples are common today, finding one that has survived in exceptional condition is much more difficult. That's exactly why serious collectors continue searching for high-quality examples. The first thing experienced collectors check is the date and the mint mark. A small letter beneath the year can make a big difference in collector demand. After that, they study the coin's condition, the strength of the strike, and whether the original surfaces remain untouched. Those details often determine whether a coin is worth a few cents or attracts much stronger collector interest. Here's something that surprises many beginners. A dainty coin isn't automatically a worthless coin. Some wheat pennies with natural aging and honest wear are preferred over coins that have been cleaned. Cleaning may seem like a good idea, but it can remove original surfaces that collectors value. That's why professionals almost always recommend leaving old collectible coins exactly as they were found. Many 1945 wheat pennies spent decades in everyday circulation. They were carried in pockets, dropped into cash registers, forgotten inside old furniture, and mixed into countless jars of loose change. Every scratch and every mark tells part of that journey. It's amazing to think that a single penny could have traveled across America for generations before ending up in someone's collection today. Now let's talk about what everyone wants to know, the value. Most circulated 1945 wheat pennies are modestly priced, but the story changes dramatically for coins with outstanding preservation. Certified mint-state examples with strong original luster and beautiful eye appeal have brought hundreds, and in some cases several $1,000s at major auctions. That's why condition matters so much. Collectors also pay close attention to unusual mint errors and die varieties. While these are uncommon, they remind us that every old coin deserves a careful inspection. A tiny difference that most people would overlook could be exactly what makes one coin stand out from millions of others. Professional dealers don't rush when examining a wheat penny. They use magnification, proper lighting, and years of experience to inspect every detail. They study Lincoln's portrait, the lettering, the wheat ears on the reverse, and the overall preservation. Small details often separate an ordinary coin from one that collectors are willing to pay serious money to own. Imagine finding a forgotten box in an attic that's been untouched for decades. Inside are dozens of old wheat pennies covered in dust. Most people might think they're worth only a few cents each, but experienced collectors know that one exceptional coin hiding among them could completely change the value of the entire group. As time passes, more original mint-state examples disappear into long-term collections. That makes truly outstanding survivors even harder to find. When collector demand stays strong and supply becomes limited, the best examples continue attracting attention whenever they appear at auction. If you ever come across a 1945 wheat penny, don't rush to spend it. Hold it carefully by the edges, check the date, look for the mint mark, and inspect the condition under good lighting. Even if it appears ordinary, taking a few extra moments could save you from overlooking a collectible coin. One of the biggest lessons in coin collecting is never to judge a coin by its appearance alone. Some of the most exciting discoveries have started with coins that look worn, faded, or completely ordinary. Experience has taught collectors that hidden value often comes from rarity, originality, and exceptional preservation rather than shiny surfaces. Every old wheat penny represents a small piece of American history. It survived decades of change, witnessed generations of everyday life, and continues to capture the attention of collectors around the world. That's what makes these coins much more than simple pocket change. So before you ignore another old penny hiding in your loose change, take a closer look. The next coin you find may not just be 1 cent. It could be a collectible that deserves expert evaluation. The difference between spending it and saving it could be much greater than most people ever imagine. Thanks for watching today's countdown of these fascinating wheat pennies. If this video helped you discover what to look for, make sure you check every old coin before spending it. You never know when an overlooked wheat penny could become the most exciting discovery in your entire collection.